Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to the Divine Union podcast. As you'll see if you're watching the video version on my YouTube channel, I got a new background today. It's been a landing in Mexico and just getting my bearings, finding my feet. And today we're going to be talking all about how to deepen an intimacy with your communication. I'm really excited to dig into this topic because I love all things intimacy, all things communication. And communication is the gateway for us to have deeper intimacy in relationship, in all of our relationships. So I'm going to be giving you insight as to how you can deepen that intimacy in your relationships with your communication. Now, first things first, communication can take many forms. Communication can be verbal with words. It can also be nonverbal. Nonverbal is your body language, how you're standing. What's your face look like? Is your jaw tight? Are you feeling expansive? Yeah. Your tone of voice, okay? Nonverbal. Are you taking pauses? Are you speaking quickly? Are you not? Yeah. What words are you using, right? With verbal communication, what words are you leaving out? Is your body on board? You say something, you appear to be relaxed, but you're really clenched up and tight. Now, for deeper intimacy, to have deep intimacy, we want to bring into harmony all aspects of our communication in a way that aligns to our authentic expression. So, if you are saying that nothing is bothering you, you want to feel light in the body, expansive in the body. You want your body to be on board when you communicate that, right? If nothing's bothering you, and you're feeling relaxed, you're probably going to speak slow. You're probably going to be smiling, right? No, I'm good. You keep doing your thing. It's not bothering me, right? Now, when your body is on board with your energy, with what you're saying, right? Then it's in harmony. Then you can have deep intimacy in all your relationships because you're being authentic in your relationships. Now, where there's a disconnect, why it minimizes intimacy when we don't master our communication, this is why I love working with communication because it's an essential element for relating, is if I am not communicating my boundaries, so let's say I had this instance here. Yeah, this is spurred from a sister of mine, Layla. I'm at her house right now. And as I'm still finding my dream home here in Mazunde, and she's really good with her boundaries. Yeah, naming of her boundaries, asserting her boundaries. I'll have her on the podcast at some point. She is such an interesting woman. And she like will name, ooh, yeah, this is great. But like in 2 hours, I'm going to want to decompress. I'm going to want to have my space. Yeah. So we have good communication there, right? And like when you trust someone to name their boundaries, that creates intimacy because it's like, yes, I can trust you. I can trust you that if while I'm here for today recording this podcast, because I used to have amazing internet and a beautiful space and I need good internet, yeah, it's like, great, I trust her because she's sharing when something's not going to feel good. So I know I'm okay in this space right now, sharing this space. They have amazing land, by the way, like a huge land. It's gorgeous. But I digress, right? So you have trust built when you can communicate what are your boundaries and communicate them effectively. Now, there's a sensitive line when we name our boundaries of how do we do it in ways that are assertive and powerful, yet like soft and easeful. And this is where I love to bring in that dance of the masculine and feminine because when we have that balance of the energies and we communicate, it doesn't feel so hard. It doesn't always feel so direct. We can name our boundaries, but it's like, okay, I'm going to want to take my space. How does that feel for you? Or, ooh, right? When you're living with people, how many complicated situations come up? Yeah. So it's like, ooh, I don't love when you lay your clothes out all over the chairs in the living room because I like to feel like my place is clean. I'm a little OCD like that, right? Now that's very different than like, don't make a mess in the living room. Yeah. And sometimes we find it easier. I used to find it easier to go the route of like aggressively naming a boundary because it actually felt more vulnerable to do it in a sweet way, a soft way. And when we can communicate in these ways that are heart centered and soft, naming our boundaries, naming what it is we desire, and doing it from that place of openness and heart, that is where the intimacy is going to like shoot through the roofs. Like when you can name a boundary and be met in it, right? Not have to like fight with battle, fight with your shield and your sword and have some like battle scars and wounds around, fight over whose turf is who. But it's like when you can name what it is that's bothering you and do it in a way that doesn't damage the relationship and you're received in that, oof, that feels so freaking good. And you feel so much more connected to that person as a result. And I guarantee you, they'll feel so much more connected to you as a result because you're humans and we all go through these periods of needing our space, wanting to connect, being frustrated, being resentful, right? All the emotions that come with being a human and being able to communicate those. And an aspect of, in order to have deeper intimacy through your communication, it's also reading between the lines. This is where feminine energy comes because it's sensing energy. This is the nonverbal piece. It's like, ooh, okay, you just came home, partner. But I notice like your energy's like you're not as open, you're not as friendly. Yeah. You seem a bit down. So it's like having a sensitivity to that. Ooh, what's going on for you today? How was your day? Nothing's wrong. I'm fine. Okay. Yeah. I'm just I could be wrong, but I'm sensing, yeah, you seem like a little down today. So I'm here if you want to talk about anything. I'll go give you some space for now. And come find me, when you want to spend time. I'll let you decompress, right? And this is good communication because this is like you're reading people and you're communicating, you're observing that you notice a shift. You give them a chance to express it. Sometimes people might even have a shift in their energy. They might not even be conscious to communicate what's going on. So instead, it's not like pressing, you press a little bit gently and then you back off and you feel in, right? And you allow them to come back, shift their own energy. And relating is a dance. Yeah, it's not easy. It's a challenge. It takes work. I'm in the business of communication and still, it's a process for me, all my relating. And when we can get to this place of easeful communication, just our relationships feel so much more fulfilling and there's so much more depth there. Let me give another example. So, yeah, I have a sister where I'm trying to find my ideal home right now. So I'm like bouncing off from place to place as I find lock in my space in the next 2 weeks. And she also was like, you can come to our place, yeah, but we can't like promise that you can stay for more than a week, which is fine. I really only need a week or so. And I was still curious, like, okay, but tell me why, like just let me understand so I could feel your headspace. Now I could have not asked the question and then been in this like limbo of like, but what does she mean if I really needed somewhere to be if I haven't found my house yet? Yeah. And I can only stay a week and then become resentful about it? No. But if I ask the question, oh, just tell me I feel you and tell me why. Like, is that because you're moving? And then she said, because we have to be out of our current space within 2 weeks and we might leave sooner. Great. Now I feel you. Now I feel more connected to you again. Now I'm not resentful. I'm not carrying anything in my body, any frustration towards you because I know where you're at, what you're feeling. And this is why communication is so powerful, whether it's with your sisters, your friends, right? Your roommates, your partner, is because when you understand where people are at and you approach it with curiosity, which can feel scary, right? It could feel scary for me. It did feel a little scary, right? Relics from my past. I have to inquire, what do you mean by that? Tell me why you couldn't house me for longer if I needed it. Because sometimes it can feel like it's too direct. It's putting people like kind of on the witness stand, yeah? But would you rather be direct and ask a question and trust that they're going to tell you their experience and not be afraid of it versus not? Not asking the question and then carrying it and wondering why they weren't like a quote unquote good friend to you. I take a pause for the birdies. So, if you want to have deep intimacy, yeah, especially if you're with your partner, if you're not having easeful communication and it's feeling tense, it's finding a way to come back into feminine, come back into yin. Oh, what a treat you have here and me. Coming back into yin energy. What are you feeling? What are you sensing? And going from there. Yeah. So if you're constantly bickering with your partner and you're sensing tension, you're feeling tension, maybe you're on the end of the tension, the other end of it, and they're being tense with you. It's like, ooh, babe, I'm noticing I'm feeling afraid to speak about anything because I feel like you're moody and I don't want you to yell at me. And it hurts my feelings when you react. And so I feel like I'm walking on eggshells, right? That's naming it. Let's bring it to the surface. What's happening? What's the dynamic? And let's squash it. Yeah. And that's how you're going to keep that intimacy, right? Not sweeping that shit under the rug, not avoiding it. No, bring it to the light, baby. What are you feeling? We are all sensitive beings. If you're listening to this episode, I guarantee you're a highly sensitive being that feels. You know when you feel something. Yeah. And so it's naming what you feel. And it's also having the humbleness of like, okay, it might just be me, right? You got to know how to communicate in a way that doesn't put someone on the defense. So, like, I'm sensing this, but what are you feeling? What's it like for you? Tell me your experience. Yeah. Beautiful. I'm going to feel and see what else I got on this. Yeah. Because you can't have intimacy without communication, or never verbally and non verbally, right? Even non-verbally, if you're not wanting to connect with your partner non-verbally, if you don't want to touch them, and touch is something that's usually important to you, right? That tells you something. What am I feeling? Where is there like a block that I want to move through? Where am I frustrated with them in some way? Where are there things unsaid, right? That causes resentment, that impacts passion, that impacts desire. You don't want to make love to someone that you're frustrated with, right? Lauren Cran, I love him. He also talks about like how he said once how like sex starts outside the bedroom. Yeah. Because he also has really interesting work with masculine and feminine energetics, given it's different than mine, of course. But I love to yeah, listen to different folks in these fields. They inspire me. People inspire me. I'm forever curious. But yeah, sex starts outside the bedroom, and it's so true, right? Because it's like starts with the communication for me. It starts with the relating. It starts with how you're engaging with each other. And you don't want to make love to someone that you're tense with, that you're having conflicts with. And so, if you want to have deep intimacy, if you want to have passion, you got to work through the communication piece. This is why I love this piece so much. And this is why mastering your communication is so important. Also, working with your masculine and feminine, because having balance of your energies, how you communicate is so important if you want to get what you want. Because I used to be heavy in my femme, so I would toggle between not expressing at all, but then I would go into like wounded masculine of demanding my needs be met, bottling up, exploding, and it just created so much tension in my relationships. And when I got to a place where I could express with ease, even bringing in humor, this is why I like to work with humor and play into the communication. It lightens it. It makes the relating fun, like those early stages of a relationship where there's fun and joy and surprise and play. So to bring it home, I want to keep this baby short because, attention spans these days, the mind of a goldfish. Let's go. Today we talked about communication, right? Okay, your communication, how to have deeper intimacy through your communication. And that's working with your communication both verbally, non-verbally. So verbally, the words you use, what words you're saying, are you pausing? Are you not? Right? So if you're not taking pauses, if you're speaking really quickly, right? Usually that's a sign you're stressed, you've got anxiety, you're not super comfortable, confident. Most people who are super confident, comfortable, they take up space. They speak slow. They listen to what they're saying. They think before they speak. And it's taking up space to speak slow. So how are you speaking? How's your tone of voice? Is that matching what you're saying? Is your body language matching what you're saying? Right? And then it's communicating with that balance of the masculine and femme. So first going in, tuning into the intuition, right? What is it I'm feeling? What is it I'm sensing? Naming that, opening it for conversation. Yeah, reading between the lines, not going, you don't just run into a bull in a china shop. Are you a bull in a china shop? Or are you gonna like linger at the doorway, see who's in there, see what's going on, see what the dynamics are, and then make your way inside? So it's having that sensitivity, right? With your communication, naming what it is you're feeling, expressing yourself with ease from a place of heart space, and you're going to have such amazing relationships as a result. Hell yes. If you dug this episode or had any, I would love to hear which were your main takeaways, insights by way of the reviews. It means so much to the podcast. This is how we spread the mission. And yeah, share it with a friend, someone whom you feel would gain value, who would dig this topic all around communication. So I love you. I love you. I love you. Beautiful, beautiful people. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Divine Union with moi, Nicola Navone. I look forward to seeing you next week. And until then, may all your unions be divine.